In case you missed it, AI ads are scaling like crazy right now for supplement brands, and they are literally outspending every other type of format on the market. Most brands can't see them for what they actually are. They say it's AI slop, how could this even work? When I make AI ads, they don't look like this. And they scroll past a winner that is doing 50K a day and just think it's another AI video. I've managed creatives for some of the biggest supplement brands in the world, and my ads personally have generated over 8 figures for the brands that we work with. In this video, I'm gonna hand you 5 AI ad formats that are printing right now with a mapped out structure on how to adapt it for your brand and start scaling. Let's get into it. All right, so the first format that is printing right now is going to be called AI motivation ads. So what are AI motivation ads, you may ask? These are AI motivation ads. So you can see this brand right here is scaling with these Tai Chi kind of ads. They also have another angle where they are scaling with military workouts. They also are running this to a quiz funnel right here. So the main reason why this works is because they make the transformation impossible to ignore, and the lazy version of the customer, they see themselves inside that, and they see themselves in the disciplined version that they want to become. It's basically a motivational story wrapped inside a direct response ad, and for supplements that matters. So let's just watch this ad right here, and then we'll take a look as to why it's performing.
How many times you go to the gym?
0. If you want to get toned, do military workouts, not the gym.
You need a system, and your body is enough.
What if I start military calisthenics tomorrow morning and follows it for 28 days?
You won't believe your results by the end of the month.
So let's just analyze the hook and the lead of this
If you
ad.
want to get toned,
So it starts off with 2 people that are very in shape, and they're in like a military kind of camp, right? So this immediately just starts off with the dream version that the customer wants to become. And then it transitions right here into the version that they currently are right now.
tomorrow morning and follows it for 28 days.
You won't believe your results by the end of the month. This is how military workouts work.
But what if I haven't worked out in years?
You can start small, that's fine. This program is designed specifically for beginner girls aged 30 to 50 plus.
Isn't a gym better?
Go to the gym just to look strong. Do military workouts to be actually strong.
Any equipment required?
No, body weight is enough to build a strong and feminine physique.
How to start?
Just get the app and start tomorrow.
So let's break down a couple things in this ad. So number 1 is the actual format. So this is a podcast
Out in
format
years.
where, you know, the person, the customer is talking to the dream version of themselves, essentially. It looks like they're talking to a simple friend, and it sounds very natural. The main thing to know as well with this is that the actual AI generations are very realistic. So we can notice there is pauses in the character. We can notice changes in the way that she's looking, and all of this just makes it very realistic when somebody's watching the ad. And it's often the small details that matter the most, because customers are hyper skeptical at the moment of AI ads. So if something looks super AI when it's trying not to be, then, you know, it's immediately going to set off a red flag in the customer's head. A simple ad, but it addresses a lot of objections that the customer has. And the main thing with this is it just leads
0.
with the dream transformation, the dream outcome that they are looking for. And then it just goes into, you know, the objections. The thing with this market, with the weight loss market, is they are solution aware. So they already know they have a weight loss issue. Right here, we're just addressing their objections, which is, you know, the gym, which is how many times do they have to work out? Is it going to be hard, etc., etc. So what these ads do very well as well is they use multiple different angles. So you can see right here, this is kind of a news angle with an authority figure. Right here, this is an implied authority figure. So this is a man that is talking about basically Tai Chi and how it can help men over 40 lose weight. So this is basically a new mechanism for this solution aware market. What it does also well is they run a lot of statics. So they run a lot of ads like these, essentially just showing the dream outcome. What it also does is it induces curiosity, right? Because a man that's over 40 that is out of shape is looking to get in great shape, just like this person right here. They're looking at this keyword right here, ghost workout. What it is it's a new mechanism, right? When there's a new mechanism in the market, it essentially introduces new hope for this ICP. So it induces curiosity. And what it also does is it says 7 minutes a day until May 22nd, 2025. So this has been running for quite a while, but essentially it really just says right here, you can use this new method for only 7 minutes a day, and basically implying that you don't have to put much effort without saying, they're basically trying to say that it's the lazy way to get in shape without really telling that directly. And you can see right here, it leads to a quiz funnel. So this is very effective, especially when you are running ads like these, because it induces a lot of trust in the buyer. The next format that is printing right now is going to be AI transformation ads. Transformation-led ads have been around for a while, but these two ones that I'm about to show you are currently scaling, and there's a lot of underlying things that you may not pick up just the first time watching them, and this is why I'm going to be breaking down these two ads. Let's break down this ad by Rise Superfoods. This brand is scaling like crazy right now. When you're watching this ad, I want you to pay attention to a couple things. Number one, the visuals. Number two, the script. Number three, the emotion of the ad, and the desire.
Hey man, it's me, your weed. We need to have a little chat about your morning routine. I know I help you chill out, but let's be honest about how your mornings have been going. I'm the reason you have that heavy, lingering fog where you just can't seem to lock in and focus on anything. And let's be honest, I'm the reason you ate everything in sight last night. Now, I'm not saying we need to break up. I like our arrangement, but you gotta give your body some backup, man. You can't just run on me and iced coffee and expect to function like a normal human. That's why you need to start drinking Rise mushroom coffee every morning. It's packed with 6 adaptogenic mushrooms that have been used for centuries in Chinese medicine to support brain and gut health naturally. It has lion's mane to support focus and mental clarity every morning, cordyceps for clean, steady energy, turkey tail to feed your good gut bacteria and balance your gut microbiome. They're certified organic, grown right here in California, and third-party tested. And don't worry, it doesn't taste like dirt or mushrooms. It actually tastes like a smooth, creamy latte. So if we're going to keep hanging out, do us both a favor and give your brain some support. They're running 40% off right now and throwing in some free gifts with your order. Try it completely risk-free for 30 days. If you're not loving it, just send back the empty bag for a full refund.
So there's a couple things we can break down about this ad. Number one, it starts off with a smoker that is dealing with a lot of issues. As you can see in here in the visuals, it really shows the emotion that the person is going through. So you can see right here, it shows somebody that is frustrated because they are having so much brain fog that they can't do anything. Over here, it shows a person that is overeating, they're getting fat, they're losing their drive, and it really just amplifies what they're going through. You can see the editing right here is just meant to show the pain that they are going through. And then when we notice when it gets to the product introduction, immediately the song in the background changes from more quiet and more sad to more happy instantly when the product is introduced. So this immediately just puts in their head that they're going to be a lot more happy, they're going to be a lot more energetic once they try this product without saying anything. And let's also break down some of the visuals right here. So you can see right here, they're in the gym. So they're basically reclaiming the version of themselves that maybe they used to be before they were a chronic smoker. We need to look at two things. Number one, the surface level desire and the core desire. So the surface level desire for this right here is that they want to reclaim more energy. They want to reclaim the version of themselves they used to be. They want to feel more healthy and look better. But then over here, we actually notice there are some things as well. So this person, you can notice, is a lot more in shape than the old videos, number one. But number two, we can see there are females, looking at him in admiration and kind of smiling at him. You can see this one all the way in the back is looking just at him, So it kind of just shows that he's going to be feeling more attractive. He's going to get more attention from women. He's going to feel more sexually desired just by reclaiming the old version of himself. So that's kind of the core desire beneath this specific visual right here. So there's going to be 3 core desires, which is, health, wealth, and relationships. This is just hitting on those. And then right here, just after it talks about, what the mechanism does, it basically helps your gut bacteria and your microbiomes, just as objections right here. So it says, it's third-party tested, so it's safe to consume, and it doesn't taste terrible. It actually tastes very nice. So, you're going to be looking forward to taking this. And again, right here, when it switches into the end, it shows the dream desired outcome, which is, they want to be a happier version of themselves. And over here, it's a lot more dramatic. There's a rainbow right here, so it shows that they're going to be feeling very good, almost in like a heaven-like state without even saying anything. And then right here, again, this person is enjoying their drink, just again to show how good it tastes without even saying anything about the drink. Then right here, there's just a guarantee social proof, and then risk reversal. But what I want you to also pay attention to is what they say in the script. So they're not talking about the surface level desires. You're going to have more energy. What I also want you to pay attention to is right here, what they say in the script about the desires and the pain points that this avatar is facing. So in these two scenes, it doesn't say, do you have low energy and can't seem to focus? Right here, it doesn't say anything about like, do you have a big appetite and you're always eating everything? But what I want you to pay attention to as well is going to be the script right here in the beginning. So what it doesn't say is, it doesn't say, are you dealing with low energy? It doesn't say, are you dealing with a big appetite? What it does say instead is the things that they are actually feeling. So the way to actually understand what they're feeling is again going to be by doing deep research. So Reddit threads, YouTube comments, looking at them manually instead of just doing it with AI. But you can see right here, instead of it says, are you tired all the time? It says, do you have heavy lingering fog and you can't seem to lock in on anything that you're doing? So that specific sentence will just resonate so much more with the target customer because it describes exactly what they're feeling. And again, right here, the visuals match the situation that they're going through. Again, right here, it doesn't say, are you dealing with a big appetite? It says, do you eat everything in sight? So these are just very small things, very small sentences, but by analyzing the Reddit threads, doing your manual research, then you are just able to understand the language and the specific situations that these people are in. So we're also going to analyze the valence and intensity of this ad. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just the emotion that the ad is portraying. So right here, it starts off with fear, dread, anxiety, guilt, and shame. And it talks about, all the pain points they're going through. And then it transitions to relief, reassurance, comfort, happiness, all the things that they want to become, that their dream outcome, the dream version of themselves wants to be. Let's break down this other ad right here. This one is going to be for a slightly different avatar. It's going to be for menopausal women.
Is what happens to your body when you take nature's Ozempic for 4 weeks. Week 1. Minutes after your first capsule, you'll feel your metabolism switching on like a furnace. That's the BHB salts forcing your body to burn fat instead of storing it. Within hours, magnesium BHB starts grabbing fat from your trouble zones and torching it for energy. You'll notice you're not bloated after meals anymore. The calcium BHB is already fighting the inflammation that's been keeping you puffy and swollen. Week 2. Your clothes start fitting completely different around your waist and hips. People at work start asking if you're doing something different. The sodium BHB keeps your energy sky high without any crashes. You're burning fat 24/7 even while you sleep. Your body has become a fat-burning machine. Week 3. Friends start commenting that your face looks thinner. Your husband notices your stomach doesn't stick out anymore. The craziest part, you haven't changed your diet at all.
So right here, it's going to get into the mechanism in a second, but I just want to show essentially just the first, the hook of the ad and why this scaled so well. So number one, it leads immediately with the transformation, unlike the Rise ad where it leads with the pain points first. Something to note also about the hook
This is what happens to your body when you take nature's...
Immediately, just the first 3 seconds, they induce a lot of curiosity because it talks about this is what happens when you take nature's Ozempic for 4 weeks, and it just induces curiosity because as you can see here, the belly fat is shrinking. So it's immediately just kind of teasing them as to what's going to happen when you take this specific product. So then immediately it talks about what they're gonna feel. So it feels like their body is going to switch on like a furnace, meaning the fat burning is going to activate. It talks about like the mechanism. So immediately magnesium BHB just induces curiosity because if they haven't heard of magnesium BHB, they're instantly hooked. They're like, what does magnesium BHB do? Why have I not heard of it? Why have I not tried it before? And this is especially important for heavily solution aware and sophisticated audiences like menopausal women. And then right here, it goes basically into the mechanism and then immediately what the emotional benefit is going to be. So after it says it's going to remove the inflammation, it says it's basically going to remove the puffiness and the swelling that you've been feeling for a long time. Over here, it talks about the other mechanism. It says immediately your stomach isn't going to stick out anymore. And then right here, it shows the deep desires of the customers. So number one, the surface level desire is, yes, they do want to lose weight, but what is the core desire behind this? That they want to lose weight so they can feel more physically attractive, so they can regain, sexual intimacy with their husband. And this is immediately what it says right here, the payoff. Your husband notices and, you guys are feeling more attracted. The chemistry is back. And then right here,
like you're storing them as fat. Week 4. By now, your metabolism is running like you're 25 again. You've lost an average of 12 pounds by taking 2.
So right here, it says, your metabolism is running very efficiently, so you're not able to store fat. And right here, the key thing is it's running like you're 25 again. So it doesn't just say the core desire, it says, what is the emotional payoff, which is, in this case, going to be both in the script and the visuals, because we can see a woman that is very energetic, that is, running very fast at the beach. So this is what they were likely doing when they were 25, right? But as they continue to age, as menopause started kicking in, they started to become very tired, they started to gain a bunch of weight, and this is just reclaiming the old version of themselves that they used to be. So I'm not going to go through the entire ad because it basically just breaks down the mechanism and then the offer, but the main thing we can take away from this is the valence and intensity. So the emotion here, unlike the other ad, it just goes straight into excitement, hope, desire, the transformation they are going to experience. So this is why it's very important to, when you are doing your research, to understand what is the emotion of the customers, because if we hit them, number one, with, okay, you're so fat, you've been dealing with all of this, you can't do anything, they already know this. They're already this is a very solution aware stage, so they already know what they are feeling. Right here, they just want to get immediately into the new mechanism. So that's what it leads to, and this is why researching your avatar is so important. Now you can try to copy these two formats and try to duplicate them into your ad account, but actually understanding the emotion behind the ad, generating the entire creative strategy from process, and having a predictable system to make winners is a lot more difficult than it seems. That's what my team do. We take care of the entire creative strategy process from zero to complete. We take care of the research, ideation, scripting, storyboarding, and we make sure the edits actually reflect the emotion in the avatar. In fact, we've helped a 7-figure supplement brand hit $1 million a month in the last 30 days. We've helped an 8-figure health and wellness brand make a winning ad that spent $224K in just a month. And we also helped a 8-figure supplement brand hit $120K per day in spend consistently. So if you run a health or wellness brand and you'd rather have that handled instead of trying to do it all yourself and burning through thousands of dollars of ad spend, there's a link in the description below to apply to work directly with me and my team. Take a full look at your ad account, we'll audit it, and we'll see if you need any help. Now let's move on to the next formats. All right, so the next winning format is going to be AI storytelling ads, and these work very well, especially in stage 4 or 5, very sophisticated markets like menopause, back pain, etc. And the reason why they work so well is because they look like a native organic piece of content on the platform. So when somebody is scrolling, they've been hammered with so many different solutions, so many different problem mechanisms. So when they just see an ad like this, immediately it brings their guard down, and they're just watching the story, and they're interested as to how the story progresses, if it's actually aligned with the type of content that they consume. That's why doing your manual research, going through TikTok, IG Reels, Facebook, YouTube, and seeing what kind of content the avatar consumes organically is very important. The number 2 reason why these work and scale so well is because they're very engaging, and they get usually a lot of likes, a lot of comments, a lot of reshares, which drops your CPM, increases your CTR, your CPCs, and you're therefore able to scale the ad at a cheaper cost. So the first type of AI storytelling ad is going to be native ads. So these have actually been around for a long time, but recently they've become very popular in the e-com health and wellness space. But there's 2 main reasons why these work so well. So number 1 is going to be the image and the copy. If we just look at this ad right here, it looks like very interesting, right? And with the image, there's a couple things to note. So you want it to be weird, you want it to be scroll stopping, and you want it to kind of induce curiosity in the viewer when they are looking at it. So if we just look at this ad right here, it's a native, it's an Amish couple in a farm, and it's just interesting, right? Like people who have never heard about Amish communities, they would be interested as to how stamina and heart health affects how they combat that in their community. That's kind of what the ad is implying. So if we look at the copy, what's really going to matter for native image ads is going to be the first 2 to 3 sentences, and this is going to be basically what I like to call the hook for native ads. And the reason why it's the hook is because, after the first 2-3 lines, the viewer has to click on view more to see the rest of the copy. So this is why these are going to be very important. And this is what we're going to go over right now. So if we see the first line, it says, if your doctor is talking about statins, but you're desperate to avoid it, this is for you. So immediately what it does is it calls out the ICP, right? So people that have tried or have heard about statins, but, they are skeptical about it. And then we go to the next line. My father took this specific, I'm not going to try to pronounce this, for 22 years, the side effects destroyed him. The stroke killed him anyways. So immediately, right here, it goes immediately into fear. So it basically, scares the ICP as to what may happen, later on if they try to go with this solution. When my doctor tried to put me on the same medication, I refused. And what I found instead, in an Amish farming community in Pennsylvania, brought my LDL from 168 to 122 without a single pill. So right here in an Amish farming community in Pennsylvania, what it does is this is the authority figure, right? So immediately they're gonna be intrigued to hear what this specific community is doing to combat this. It's not directly saying that, the Amish community brings down their LDL because of the pill, but they're basically implying that with the copy. Again, the desired and desired outcome, which is they're able to bring down their LDL without having to go through all of these different procedures, having to take all of these, pills that have a harmful effect on their health. So if you create a winning native ad, a good iteration is to basically turn this into a scrolling text ad like this. So when you're trying to basically get the image for your native ad, there's a couple ways to do it. So number one, you can generate it with AI, and number two, you can go through Reddit, which is my personal favorite way of finding images to use. So right here, if we just go on Reddit and then search up like basically the pain point that we're going after, and then we go to media, we can see all of the images directly from Reddit threads. So what I like to do when I'm going through, these images is I just scroll for like 30 seconds to a minute and see like what image stands out to me. So that's what I'm gonna do right here. I'm just gonna scroll for a little while. This one stands out to me. This also stands out to me as well because it talks about 25-year-old nurse secretly decided to donate her kidney. So it's immediately intriguing. And this person is in like a lot of pain. We could have, you could take a screenshot of, this person in pain as well when they're going through dialysis, and then you could also have this as the hook. It's going to induce a lot of curiosity. This sticks out to me as well because it's very dramatic. It's showing his arm after going through dialysis. So basically it's going to try to it's basically scaring people indirectly when they look at this photo if they have heard about dialysis or are afraid that their complication might lead to that. So I would use this one. I would also try this one as well. If you are going to use real people or people in your native ad, what I would do is I would not use these specific people. What I would do is I would go over to basically Higgsfield, Nano Banana, and basically just take these same images and then just make a lookalike of the person, someone that that fits the avatar. So somebody in this age range, somebody with a similar build, similar physique, similar emotions, and then you can basically just have someone that is not the actual person, because you can use this photo, but you don't want to get lawsuits as well. The next iteration you could do if you create a winning native ad is you could turn this into a native scrolling text ad like this. So basically just include the same exact copy, but just change up the image. So you could just create a bunch of different images and have this scrolling for a couple of minutes. This is working really well right now in the menopausal niche. A bunch of different brands like Happy Mammoth are doing them a lot. The next iteration is going to be AI Yapper ads. So you can basically, again, go to the Reddit threads, try to understand who your ICP, what they look like, and then make, a similar lookalike to that person. And you can do this with HeyGen as well. The main thing with this is to just make it look very natural, but you can use the exact same script. I've seen this performing very well. I've actually seen iterations of winning native ads, literally just the same exact script, same exact copy, same angle, but just different formats. And they're all top 5 spenders inside the ad account. The next one is going to be, I think, one of my favorite ones. So this is what I like to call AI VSL storytelling ads. So all the visuals are going to be generated with AI, but the main thing with this is it's going to be storytelling. It's going to be very engaging, and it's going to be unaware. So let's just play this one right here.
There's a reason coffee affects people today in ways it didn't centuries ago, and it starts with how it was transported. Coffee first arrived in Europe in the 1600s. People loved the taste, the ritual, the energy, but no one understood what happened to coffee during its long journey.
So right here, just the hook and the lead. So the first 15 seconds, immediately it just draws a lot of curiosity, right? Because it's targeting modern people, that need coffee for energy, for work. So this is what the avatar would look like. But it basically just tries to reframe their mind to think about the hidden cause or something that is up with their coffee that they're not aware of. And right here, it just talks about what happened during, coffee's long journey. So immediately just a bunch of open loops, a bunch of curiosity, so that we can get into the story. So that's going to be the main objective of the hook and the lead.
By the 1800s, global demand exploded. Coffee was shipped across humid oceans, stored for weeks in warm cargo holds, and mold quietly developed on the beans without anyone noticing. In the 1950s, scientists finally began studying mold toxins in food, known as mycotoxins, and coffee was one of the products mentioned. But the industry continued to grow, and quality was sacrificed for speed. By the 1980s, industrial roasting took over. Mass harvesting, bulk drying, and huge storage warehouses made mold contamination even more common. The priority became quantity, not purity. In the 2000s, research connected mold in coffee to gut problems, fatigue, anxiety, and inflammation. Symptoms millions of people blamed on stress, age, or caffeine itself. And now, in the 2020s, we finally understand the full picture. Mold exposure in coffee has been affecting people for hundreds of years, and most brands still don't test for it. That's why Fabula was...
So right here, we're introducing the product, which is, the coffee that doesn't include any of these ingredients. And then it just goes into what makes the coffee special, how it doesn't include any of these ingredients, and then the offer and the CTA. So I'm not going to play that because the most important part is going to be the lead up until it introduces the solution mechanism. So right here, the common enemy in this ad is going to be, the mycotoxins. So they're not even aware of this. And then it leads into what are the effects of the mycotoxins, which again, they're not even aware that is causing their issue. Again, right here, the problem mechanism is going to be mycotoxins, which lead to fatigue, low energy, brain fog, etc. So that's essentially the problem mechanism, and you can see it's framed very well in a very engaging way and actually shows the actual mode developing. So that's something else to consider for AI storytelling ads is the visuals, because these visuals, number one, they're very engaging. The background music just makes the person want to watch the video. And number two is going to be the way that we're introducing this common enemy, this problem mechanism. You can see it's very dramatic right here. This beans is like growing almost trees, which I'm sure the regular beans, even if they do have some mycotoxins and some mold, it's not this much. Yeah, it's just everything is just very dramatic. And then again, it's showing right here the pain points, which is, the anxiety, the gut health issues, and everything. So it's connecting these two in a very logical, easy to understand way. This would also be a pretty good native image ad variation to do. So basically just taking the same copy, making multiple variations of, coffee transported, of the mold growing on the coffee, because number one, induces curiosity, is shocking, and they want to learn more. So these are the main things to do for AI storytelling ads. I've seen ad accounts spending, multiple six figures a month just on these. So these can work very well for top of funnel. The next format is going to be multiple symptoms ads. So this works very well if you're in a problem aware niche and your specific solution mechanism, so your product has multiple different ingredients that solve multiple different issues. So let's go into this first one. These have been working really good on TikTok Shop, but if you take the same format, move it to Meta, these work pretty good as well.
If your butt itches out of nowhere, even when it's clean, you need oregano. If your farts stink like rotten eggs, you need chlorophyll. If you're always
So basically goes into all the symptoms and then what's causing them, and then it goes into the solution mechanism right here. So very simple ad, but these work extremely well. This one right here is an actual UGC clip, so filmed in real life, but you can do this pretty easily with Hicksfield if you have good editors and they are properly trained on how to create these ads. Iteration of this, if it's a winner, you can also have either a UGC person or you can have an AI UGC just doing a talking head video about the different symptoms and then what it's linked to. So you can have something like this.
A 1 minute man versus a 30-minute man. The difference between these two is the the blood flow, and that can all be fixed by taking one thing. I was the 1 minute man a few months ago. My energy was low, I had no stamina, and my blood flow was trash until I did my research and started taking beetroot. Beetroot been going viral all over TikTok because it's proven to have so many.
So essentially, again, just a very simple version, but these work pretty good. The last AI format is going to be retargeting ads. So I would recommend this, highly recommend this if you're spending even above 5K a day, 10K a day, because what the AI storytelling ads and the problem multiple symptom ads are going to do that we talked about above is they're going to create top of funnel traffic. But then if you don't have any bottom of funnel, product aware, solution aware ads, product aware and most aware ads, you're missing out on a lot of the market that is viewing, your ads. So some formats that work really well is number one right here, 52 and fitting into things I haven't worn in years. So just the before and after transformation. The main thing to do for this is not to make it overly dramatic because, you don't want to get your ad account banned. And then again, just showing the product. And another version right here, in 1 month, say goodbye to stubborn fat, stomach bloating, hours of cardio. Product here is very big. And then we're just, again, saying what it does right here. This is more of a solution aware ad, so a bit higher on the awareness scale. 5 reasons to take nature's Ozempic. So immediately the product is for, people who have heard about or have tried Ozempic, but they don't like the side effects or they're scared to take it, which works really well, again, for the menopausal niche because they have tried or have heard of basically every single solution that there is out there. Number one, reactivates your fat burning, reduces bloating and inflammation, burns belly fat 24/7 even while you sleep. So everything that it does. And right here, the mechanism, and no needles, no nausea, no prescription required. I would definitely try this out, this format, if you are spending a good amount daily. And then lastly, right here, we have a before and after ad, and then that is all made with AI. And then again, the benefits, the bottle, and some social proof right here as well. All right, so say one of these formats, you try them out in your ad account, they start popping off. What do you do after then? So this is kind of what I do as an iteration next step after I create an AI winning ad format. So this is basically my master analysis prompt, and I basically tried out all the prompts that are out there, and I made this one custom for me and my team. What it basically does, first of all, it just has all of the knowledge of direct response. So I paste in, the product page, the research documents, as well as breakthrough advertising by Eugene Schwartz. And then what this does, it analyzes a couple things. So number one, the format, obviously the avatar, surface desires and the core desires, awareness level, sophistication level, core angle, problem and solution mechanism, emotion, common enemy framing, authority figure, and offer. And then basically what it does as well is it basically repurposes the skeleton script of the ad. So say, you have a structure in the ad, it basically just breaks down the skeleton that you can then use for different avatars, for different problem mechanisms, etc., etc. So this is what I'll do. I'll break down the winning ad. So say, for example, we wanted to break down this ad. I would basically put it into Gemini, ask it to transcribe the ad, and then I would basically copy paste this into Claude. So here, as you can see, I copy pasted the script of the ad, and then as well breakthrough advertising, as well as the prompt. So I'm going to basically generate this and see what it comes up with. So right here, let's analyze the analysis that Claude gave us. So number one, the format, again, documentary style VSL, so pretty accurate. Avatar ICP, health conscious coffee drinkers. Core desire, which is obviously health, not wanting to consume the mycotoxins, but what is the core desire? And then right here, this is going to be pretty important. So what is the surface level desire? Coffee that doesn't make them feel shitty afterwards, but the core desire specifically is going to be health. So the ability to have trust in what they're putting in their body, basically being free from, diseases. So this is very something to really take a look at when you are analyzing ads. Again, the angle, problem mechanism, solution mechanism, valence and intensity, common enemy, authority figure, and offer. And then right here is also a line by line breakdown. So if you want to just really dissect the ad and take a look at what is the emotion, what is, the point of this specific line, then you can go back. Say, for example, you have a big drop off in a certain part of the script. You can go back to here and really see what is the point of this specific line. And then we go to the skeleton. So it just gives us, the copy pasted skeleton that we can basically just copy paste and then repurpose for another product. So I would definitely do this for every single winning ad, not even AI ads, because this really goes into depth. So there you have it. These are the top winning AI formats right now. These are all scaling right now. I've seen each one of these formats spend above 100K inside ad accounts. So I would definitely take a look at these, either make them yourself or relay this information to your team, and definitely get these launched ASAP. And if they are a winner, iterate as soon as possible as well. If you want to make them yourself, go ahead and try out. If you want me and my team to make them for you, the link is down below. I hope this video was insightful and you learned a couple things. I'll see you in the next video.